Today, I'm delighted to be joined by Tom Stagg, inside centre for the second team. You've just come off the back of a good win, Tom, and you hot-footed over to the commentary box. Thank you very much.
Absolutely no problem. I didn't want to spend too much time in the shower with the twos anyway, so happy to be here.
Much safer to be in here. We don't take our clothes off quite as much.
Not yet.
But a start for Romford and Gidea, which they'll be very happy with. Bit of territory as they nudge their way to within 8 metres of Harpenden's 22. Coverage coming to you wherever you are, live here from Harpenden RFC.
Big shout out to Tegan's mum, who I think is joining us from South Africa.
Tegan Stridham, outside centre for Harpenden. Yet to see him in action, but we'll most certainly be name-checking him when he does. Ball taken by Romford, and they go up the jumper, keeping it tight. Inwood and Barney Saville, the half-backs, combining to get their style of play and their patterns into the game. Harpenden's defence is solid.
Huge emphasis on line speed for Harpenden. That's what they work on in training. Getting up, getting out the line, keeping an eye out for the centres leading the charge.
Yeah, those centres, Nick Childs and Tegan Stridham. And we'll have our first breaking play. Well, a cagey, nervous slightly, perhaps an expected start to a playoff match. It's a season which both sides, and Tom, correct me on the Harpenden side if I'm wrong here, but where they might not have expected at certain different stages of the season to be competing for a place in the league above.
Absolutely, yeah. Compared to last season where we were vying for first place for almost a duration, this season we started well. We dropped down to a mid-table and started building again, and they deserve it. The boys have worked incredibly hard and got a few big results away from home this season. That's got us into this position. I think last season we missed out on the last day of the season, or we missed out by a point. The year before that, or maybe it was the year before that even, we finished fourth and we're in the running for the playoff spot for a long time. So it's been a long time coming, and it's been a long project from that 4 or 5 years in the making to get here. But the great thing is it's still the core boys. Every name on the team sheet, they've been at the club for years. This isn't a one-off attempt where we've got guys in from all over the place to join. Some of these guys have played from the club since youth level, so that's really good to see.
And a refreshing slightly of a few names, only really replacing those that you lost last season, the likes of Bobby Tane and
yeah, Bobby Kiwi,
Barber as well.
Barber, we lost to our top point scorer, to our old Albanians down the road. He's doing really well for them, so that's fantastic. Bobby went over to Spain to play, and I think the club really encouraged that. They love to see the guys going on to bigger and better things. And there are a few lads missing through injury today. Ollie Mann, who's instrumental this season. Max Baggio, I think, is injured. So some really good players not on the field.
Well, first chance for both sets of forwards to wrestle with each other, and it's Harpenden who get a much better nudge on. Barney Saville still has the ball. The number 9 for Romford. Tackling coming in from Tom Sanders, the open side for Harpenden. Gain of around 50 metres from that scrum. That represents excellent offensive defence from Harpenden. Now Romford try and get into their stride. Saville checks one way, then goes the other. Lovely tap on from number 7, Dwayne Lynn. Only as far as the touchline though, and it's ushered out actually near our commentary position, Tom, and good defence from Harpenden.
Absolutely, yeah. There's a huge amount of intensity out there. They spoke before the game about emotional energy, keeping it up there, keeping it high, and that could be the difference when you play a playoff game against a team that's had a tough season and that are in the back end of a beating every weekend, compared to a team that's on the up. That could be the difference in attitude.
Peter Sims with the accuracy at the line-out, something which some of the fans were picking out before kickoff as one of his strong points to his game. Doesn't quite go to hand in the back, so Dwayne Lynn unable to profit from that, and we will have another scrum just inside Harpenden's half. Well, the form of Romford and Gidea Park, for those of you of a Harpenden's persuasion who may not know quite as much about them, They finished second in London 2 North East, finished behind Woodford and just ahead of Stowmarket, who were down in third. They had a 15-game unbeaten streak after losing their first game of the season through the bulk of this this season. That did include 3 draws, so they have they know what it's like to go on a run. They know what it's like to play with the assumption that the win will come. That time, though, from the second scrum of the game, a real moment for the front row of Harpenden to savour after muscling that penalty.
I think Sweeney's very important today with his big left boot. He's a really good field goal kicker, and he's just recovered from an injury, so it's really great to see him back out on the field.
Yeah, Tom Sweeney at fullback. Another chance for Sims. And the pack tie it down and try and get their body positions low to march forward. It's at the back with Sanders. They rework, they reposition, and the same result, marching forwards. The Romford and Gidea pack unable to stem this flow in field from Harpenden. Now it comes up to the backs, and Hales has a first chance to get his back line with the eye line, with the try line in there. Sighters, that's just bobbled around and it's going to be knocked on. So things not quite clicking just in the first exchange we've seen of the backs, Tom.
Yeah, that'll frustrate Matt, the coach, a little bit, because we work so hard on keeping things simple, keeping things basic, and doing the basics well, and not being frantic. You know, not spilling the ball out on the floor, throwing it out of contact. You know, I think there's a lot of emphasis on the backs. Don't do something rash just because you think it's on. Unlike the twos game, you might have caught some of where it was just absolute frantic. So yeah, looking after the ball and respecting it a lot more. You know, we've just gone on an absolute 30-metre run with a maul and a great defence, and then we've just thrown the ball away, which will be frustrating.
From that last scrum we saw, though, just how strong Harpenden were. That's been a real strength of their game all season.
You can't really see on the television too much, but the rain is starting to come down now. It's drizzling quite a lot, and that ball is going to be slippery, and the ground will be slippery as well. So any handling errors that start to creep in will be quite important.
Well, Romford and Gidea do eventually get it away, but they're under some pressure at scrum time. That will be telling at some point in this half, unless they can turn that around. Real area of ascendancy in these early exchanges for Harpenden. It's gone onto the toe. It's going to be picked up by Harpenden. Turnover of possession in centre field. Run along the hands to Stridham, and it's gone to the floor again. That rain just creeping in at the wrong time, Tom.
Yeah, that's what we're talking about. If you want to hit big, flat, fizzing passes like that, but it's slippery ball, it's wet, and it's not going to pay off. So scrums are now going to be really important. They might be a big factor in this game, if we're going to stop every 5 minutes for a scrum with this weather.
Well, the benefit of an artificial pitch is it should lead to a fairly consistent style of open play.
Yep.
But the weather, the factor that can change all that. As you can see, we started in sunlight. It's now grey in extremis to the north of our pitches that we're getting. But I sense from my research, Tom, that won't bother Harpenden too much.
No, not particularly. No. The great thing about this artificial pitch is, even if it's drizzling, even if it's rainy, you can still keep a really solid scrum. You won't see too many scrums going down. And we've got Big George Rolfe, who weighs about as much as this van that we're sitting in.
Yeah.
So I think we might do all right there.
Yeah, has been a real cornerstone of the pack, hasn't he, this season, George Rolfe?
Yeah. And Gidea at the back there, marshalling forward. He's been there so many times, doing what he's doing now, just teasing it forward, looking for the penalty, keeping drive on. They'll keep pushing. Why not?
What a scrum! Fred Gulliford getting the armchair ride at the back, and it's going to be a penalty. No other option in the end. Right in front of the sticks. What would you go for, Tom?
They're going to go 3 points, especially with someone like Tom Sweeney, right in front of the post. He can knock them over from pretty much anywhere. So take the early points and come back, especially when your scrum's dominating like that. They'll be comfortable knowing that they can get back down there and just do it again.
And what about going for another scrum?
True. I think if we were a touch closer, I think we would look at that. There you go, Lacey's being pragmatic and going for the sticks. But the boys will be buzzing now. They'll be talking about that scrum, and it's registered with all the players that that's a weapon.
So 10 minutes played here. First chance for points as the rain does come down here in Harpenden. Tom Sweeney with his left foot from 25 metres. So points in this playoff game. They go the way of Harpenden, 3-0. The hosts lead against Romford and Gidea. And the full stand that we're seeing across the far side, that's always good to see. There's been plenty of hospitality going on beforehand, and they were in good mood when I arrived around 2 hours ago. They've had to come out into the cold, venture out to see this, but a very full, packed out Redbourne Lane for this playoff game, and Romford and Gidea with the kickoff. Watch well, but the chase is good too.
He's done well to stay in field there, Gidea.
So Peter Sims picks and goes, the hooker. And typically, Tom, what's your exit strategy when you are retrieving the kickoff?
Well, that's a funny one. So obviously depending on where we land, we'll look to carry it out with some big hard forward carries. But we've also got a couple of lumps in midfield. Nick Charles at 12. He's a big heavy guy. He's almost like having an extra back, extra prop even. So when you've got big heavy guys like that, we use them to carry out as much as possible as well. And use Fred's box kicking and there's as much focus on the chase as there is the kick.
I'll leave Nick Charles to take up your initial reference to him later, and perhaps in the bar, Tom. But yeah, a few more of those. Just drop them in whenever you want. We absolutely love it. So turning is Tyler Ford.
It's a great kick.
Being turned rather, and be nice to see him with a chance to run into open field. An illustration there from the assistant referee's flag, just that there is a wind coming from left to right.
It was that the wind was actually blowing when I was playing earlier, and it was very difficult to kick into the wind. So that will be a slight. But we haven't seen a lot of kicking really, especially coming from Harpenden and back into that corner. So keep it up. So exiting from here is a bit of a nightmare. Goes up.
Dwayne Lynn does his best as this runs.
Oh,
and that bangs onto the commentary position that we're in, and actually it's almost going to bounce right up into our laps, Tom. But the ball boys, eager as ever, fish it back out. It's always nice when you get a bit of interactivity with the pictures that you're seeing. So we're delighted to have your company. If you're just tuning in here on Cheers Mate Productions, we are live 30 minutes in. Harpenden against Romford and Gidea in this playoff for London 1 North.
Dominant tackles, that's something that the boys focus on. I think both teams, oh, here we go.
Lynn back inside, and the support comes from Gidea in open field. It's first chance really for them to show what they can do when the game breaks up. Saville to his Lucid prop Presto. Now to his half-back inward, and there's space out wide. It's passed on, but there was good defence in there. Harpenden coming up quickly. Hammering through the middle, though, well kept alive from Billy Nelson. Saville again. Tackles coming in. Raining in. Here's Presto once more. Saville inward, steps. Thought he'd see as a gap. There was options to his left and to his right. He went himself. Saville onto Lynn, and Lynn just loops it over the top. This could be the first try for Romford and Gidea. The step, and then the defence comes in. That is some cooperation in defence to shut that down in the end, because
and that's Gidea out there as well. The big number 8 linking up with the fullback. That's great.
His left and to his right. He went himself. Michael Goode. Saville onto Lynn, and Lynn just loops it over the top. This was
phenomenal effort.
Real hot stepping on that right wing from Romford and Gidea.
Yeah, it's great intensity from Romford, and I think they're taking advantage there. When they go wide, it is slippy. The ground, these artificial grounds, they do get slippy, and if you step back inside, I think we saw Tegan's footing go. Something to be wary about if you play out wide.
So the upshot is a chance for Ross Inwood to level things up.
We've got Greeny joining us from New York. I've just been told on the club WhatsApp group. Looking out, he's somewhere. Can't really see where he is, but that's great to see. Great to appreciate the support, Greeny. I'm sure you're yelling offside and all kinds of things in your one-bedroom flat.
Yeah, Greeny, do keep up the comms. Let us know what you think of your man Tom Stagg in the commentary box. Be kind to me, please. Yeah, great to have your company wherever you're watching from. And that is levelled things up. So excellent points taken from Ross Inwood. And if you are watching of a Romford and Gidea Park persuasion as well, then let us know what you think of the RGP boys. 3-3 here, and things nicely tied up. Both sides having displayed their wares in attack now. And after the phony war, how will things progress for the rest of this half? Rain now lashing down here in Harpenden.
There's a real air of seriousness in the crowd. You know, there's some very stonewall faces. It's very, very sort of muted atmosphere because everyone knows how much is riding on this. You can see, and it's so close you can't tear them apart.
Yeah, and the danger with rain in any competition is that it can reduce the match to an arm wrestle. Romford and Gidea certainly won't want to do that. They have played their season on an expansive game. We've seen some of it in action already, just down in the piece of play which led to that penalty. Certainly know their way left and right across a rugby pitch, and then how to punch through the middle too. Stolen in the line out by Harpenden. Deep back inside their half, but so they start from first phase. Picking and going round the corner.
Fred pulling Pete Sims into position there. I love it.
Gulliford now up to Hales, and then that's again flied across to Stryden, but it's picked off by his opposite man, Robertson. The two scrum-hatted number 13 squaring off, and it's Robertson who profits from that exchange.
He's called that a tackle. That's,
Saville. Back to Inwood, and then almost onto the outside men, but the tackle was good.
It's a great read from Adam Wilkinson. He doesn't say much, but actions speak louder than words, I guess.
Saville. Keeps playing the same way. Now they try and go through the breastplate. Right up the middle, right up the Harpenden High Street. Saville stepping, and looks to be a lively scrum half, does Barney Saville. Now this is Paul Webb. More numbers, more willing carriers of the ball.
I think it's only the rain that's stopping them from going wide. Yeah, they're being sensible here. I think Romford, they're not rushing it. They're staying calm.
Mickey Clark, their captain, involved, as is Carl Presto again. Now they come away to the left.
Knock on.
First cheers, really, that we've heard in a while from the Harpenden fans.
I think that's both teams there demonstrating that if you fire a flat fizzing pass in this weather, you know, and where there's good line speed, it's not going to play well. It's not going to play out very well. We've got our under-15s team in tour in Jersey at the moment, and it looks like they've sent the kids somewhere, and the dads have all got round to watch the game instead, which is great to see.
Well, big hello to you. What a place to go and tour, Jersey.
Weather looks much nicer than it does here.
It's almost a mecca for every rugby club across the land, isn't it? You should always try and work a Jersey tour. Here back in Harpenden, it's a solid enough scrum, not the ascendancy we're used to. That's good stepping out of the tackle though from Michael Good.
Oof.
Penalty to Romford for holding on. Or was that actually for blocking, Tom? Correct me if...
to be honest with you, it looks like it might be an early tackle on someone
yeah.
with the arm demonstration, but couldn't quite see. I think Harpenden, they'll be a little bit disappointed that they've conceded a penalty and probably the points here, but ultimately when they've been in our 22 for 10 minutes, so to come away with 3 points, especially when they were attacking wide in that corner, I think we'll be happily to just get back down there really. But the boys will be disappointed with their discipline, losing the ball there. Like you said, exit strategy is very important, and if we're knocking the ball on, or just not tight enough around there, such a great carry from Gidea, and then we've coughed it up.
Flags are raised. Inwood doubles his personal tally and takes Romford and Gidea into the lead. 6 points to 3 they lead. And they had to weather two types of storm. Not only the weather here, but also that early play from Harpenden. So a hard-earned 6-3 lead by Romford and Gidea as we wait for the ball to come back. So Tom Sweeney will kick us back underway. Goes away to the right-hand side of the pitch.
There we go.
Knock on forced. Chance perhaps for Harpenden to get straight to work. Ollie Lacey.
Could be a carry for big Charlesy in the middle, out the back.
Does go round the back indeed. It's on to Good and then on to Strider, and that's a huge hit on the 22. Referee waves play on. Hales back inside. Good hands from the number 10. Adam Wilkinson was the target.
They're putting a lot of pressure on Fred around those rucks. That's a couple of times they've tried to swallow him up. They don't want quick ball.
Good now with his tail up after that excellent carry in that first real fluid movement of the backs and forwards together. Gulliford.
It's so wet. The boys are struggling to put a good zip on the ball. Another knock on.
Will have this in a good position if they can, as they have threatened to do, get the ball back on their side from the scrum. Or actually, I apologise, it's going to be Harpenden's put-in.
I think this has got Gidea number 8 pick all over it. I don't want to give away too many clues, but the way he stood with his arms behind his back, he knows what's coming. It looks like the backs are making a lot of noise, but I'll be surprised if we don't use Big Michael.
Well, the insights we're hearing from Tom Stagg, playing for the second 15 today at inside centre. Let's see how this one plays out, Tom. The noise created on the left-hand side of the pitch by the backs, and Goose goes to the right. He has Gulliford, but we'll have a take two. So half the first half elapsed, and we may have to reserve a while on this next question, Tom, but who will you see as the happier of the two sides at the moment?
I think, to be honest with you, I think there's a lot riding on this scrum, this set piece, because it looks like we've got the better of them a touch in the scrum, and we've stole one of their line-outs. So despite the score difference, if we've shown that this is an area of the game that we'll be able to dominate, another really solid scrum, that's what we're talking about. Lovely. I just think that's the key, isn't it? We've shown, no matter what the score is, it didn't matter if we were losing 10-0, if we're winning that scrum battle, which is going to be key all game, Sweeney will keep winning keep slotting over any penalties we win, hopefully.
I mean, there are those occasions you see where a side just has scrum ascendancy to the extreme, and you're right. There's no point playing rugby after that, because penalty after penalty can be won, and if that is the way Harpenden have to do it, I'm sure they won't mind that at all.
The weather will play into our hands, hopefully, and I taught Sweeney everything he knows about kicking.
Precisely, what is that?
Yeah, it's not much. I usually drop kick them myself.
You're lefty as well, Tom?
I'm not, no, I'm right-footed. And Sweeney is very reliable. I actually had a chance a couple of seasons ago to kick a penalty to win the game, and I bottled it and gave it to Sweeney, and he stepped up and smashed it through. So I'll always back Sweeney in these situations.
So it's Tom Sweeney 6, Ross Inwood 6, Harpenden tied up with Romford and Gidea through both place kickers, the fullback for Harpenden and the number 10 for Romford and Gidea. So their last kick-off was well taken by Good. It's heading that way again. Taken down indeed by Good. Harpenden happy to run it through the hands to work more space. And it's back to Sweeney onto the left.
He's kept it in field.
And this will be one to see what Romford and Gidea choose to do, how they try and work it back up the pitch.
Oof, that's Tegan. Big hit.
Superb chase from Tegan Stridham in his last game for the club, the South African.
Got no doubt he'll be in Batchwood tonight to celebrate either way, and he probably was last night, but hopefully the coach doesn't know that.
Spread across the line. Romford having had to just get through every single scrum at the moment. They must be looking to make hay when they do have the ball in their hand. On that occasion, though, they're kicking away. Sweeney.
Oof.
Delicate little chip over and he chases for himself.
Good hit. Oh, good collision.
Carl Presto, the man which picked up Tom Sweeney's kick. The loose head prop for Romford. And here come the black and white shirts again. Different extension of black and white shirts for both sides.
It's a similar setup for both teams, a 2-3 pack outside the 10, and it's both teams are sort of mirroring each other at the moment. There's not much to tell them apart.
Somehow that's come back after George Robertson dropped it, and that's gone beneath Lynn, and then diving back on it, Romford. And if they've done well, if they've got that back, that is fine. Scrambling work. They take the direct route.
He's got a big nudge, the 10. I don't think that is the 10, but it's inward. It's got a big kick on him.
Here comes Sweeney. The ball going his way at the moment. The captain, Lacey.
It's on if we go right now. We've got our numbers. If we go right. Ugh.
Will Hales has to tidy it up rather than look to attack. Sweeney almost opened up for the fullback. Gets the offload. Support coming from McLaughlin.
One more year for Sean, hopefully. Hopefully it's not his last season.
He's had a super season, hasn't he? The loose head prop. Speaking to Matt Davies in the week, he was full of praise for both. Everyone really who's turned out in the front row for Harpenden. Knock on coming.
It is. It's just, I think for both teams, their pressure's good. They get good field position, and then it's just, whether it be a dodgy pass or a little knock on, it just halts the flow of the game. But I don't think both teams would mind that, to be honest. They get a little bit of a breather. They get back together and keep the pace a little bit slower than they don't want it frantic to set in. Charlesie's blowing. He needs some water. You can see there.
Is it an occasion, Tom, you alluded to it earlier, but the club can enjoy this one?
To be honest with you,
or only at the final whistle.
Looking at the crowd there and looking at the expression on people's faces, and even the boys, and even Matt, our coach, he's nowhere near as he's a lot more reserved, I think, than he usually would be. I think both teams know what's on the line here, and I don't think anyone's enjoying themselves at this stage. I think for the last 10 minutes, if it's still a close game, we'll start to really hear some noise from the crowd and from the coaches and the players, but they're just feeling each other out now. It's like the first few rounds of a boxing game, and no one wants to make the first move yet.
Yeah, it's almost someone needs to reveal their cards a little bit more before you can get behind something and cheer them to the rafters after that.
Absolutely.
We are getting some lovely shots of Harpenden Rugby Club here, and if you're tuning in and you don't have an affiliation to either club, we might ask how on earth you found the stream, but well done to you. But yeah, this is Harpenden Rugby Club. It's artificial pitch, providing rugby, community rugby and senior rugby here all year round in any weather.
The club incidentally won an award last night, I believe, for something about the Harpenden Referees, Hertfordshire Referee Society for Club of the Year or something, which is always nice to see, because yeah, it's not just about winning and getting promoted. It's about everything. You know, there'll be 5 pitches full of kids playing tomorrow. and there'll be an extended car park, and it really is quite a big deal for all the locals.
So Saville again has to get the ball away. Somehow Romford getting their ball back at that scrum time despite the pressure they're under. That's put on the toe, and again Sweeney well placed. In behind.
That's straight out. Well,
Ross Inwood was the man replying. It's done well there from a difficult angle, but very good quick kick from Tom Sweeney.
It's that Harpenden, really good defence there, really good read from Tagan to stay out and guard his channel, and then a really good grabber kick in, and Sweeney then puts a great kick in. It's just quite high quality stuff at the moment, and neither team seems to yield.
So Tom, your soothsaying has been spot on so far. What's happening after this line out?
Oh, we're going to go up the middle. I think there'll be actually we don't have any forwards out. I would expect us to target maybe Childsy up the middle, or Adam Wilkinson just behind Childsy, I reckon. Little sting move. Yeah, you can see Adam just hovering in the bottom right of the screen there. He's going to get the ball behind Childsy's considerably large back. You can hear Matt maybe barking from here, just keep it in there, keep driving it, because if it's going like this, we'll just keep going. I wouldn't be surprised if a couple of forwards join in if we get a bit closer.
Fred Gulliford marshalling things well at the back, the scrum half. Now the captain, Lacey, gets his hands on the ball.
Fred wants it now.
George Rolfe is deciding otherwise. And yet they keep going, now peeling off and entering into the 22. Gulliford goes to his fly half, fails. That will come all the way back for, I think, advantage was being played.
Yeah, I think they've tried to go to Adam Wilkinson out the back just off screen, and the line speed was very, very good from Romford.
So decision to make here. Sweeney is going for the corner. Of all the players that we've mentioned today, it has been Sweeney who's had the most touches of the ball, the most influences on the game in the back line. And he takes play to within 7 metres of Romford and Gidea's line. The first try still awaits us. 33 minutes played here in Harpenden. Is this the moment for Harpenden to settle their nerves slightly in this playoff game? It's taken down at the back. Ryan Goo in on it, and then the slow march begins.
Penalty.
Harpenden with the advantage. I think the ball has gone to floor though, so this may be one now for Harpenden's backs. The forwards say no. Picking and going round the corner, Harpenden looking for the whitewash. It's not far away now, 3 metres away. Still cutting in field, edging ever closer towards the posts. But that could be the moment. It is. The referee well sighted and raises his arm. And Tom Stagg, you will have to say who got that one down.
I can't actually see. There's a lot of taps on the head for the Gidea and Lacey. It might be the skipper that's got the ball down. No, Lacey's spot. I think it's Gidea at the bottom of that pile, just where he likes it. I think that's great to see.
Well, if it is Michael Good from 1 yard, a very valuable try in the context of this season for Harpenden. Both sides shooting for London 1 North status next season.
Quite muted celebration from the boys. It's all business today.
Sweeney, perfect from the tee so far.
Oof.
But just pulling that away to the right. So the score stays at 11-6 to Harpenden. Opening score under the belt though. It doesn't really show it at all on our screen, but I've just poked my head out the top of our van and These Romford and Gidea boys, they are big men. They may be under the cosh at the scrum time, but they are sizable figures. Kick-off again, this time more contestable. Knocking on coming though, and spotted.
I think the Harpenden boys want a scrum here. They won't want to see too much advantage being played off a knock-on. Oh my gosh.
Playing deep out of their 22, but doing it marvellously, just falling to the floor when it... I think it was Tyler Ford who maybe had it on his wing, and he had open green artificial grass to run into. That is their...
I mean, that's the first time Harpenden have really gone through the backs there, and it just shows you that, you know, there's such fine margins with this weather. It was beautiful rugby, and then, yeah, with this ball, it's like playing with a bar of soap.
And actually, Tom, who was it that...
Looks like Pennell.
Looked like they were in acres of space. Jack Pennell.
Yeah, he's got a bit of ginger in him that will hold him back. But yeah, I mean, Harpenden there, look, it was a knock-on. It's an advantage to Harps, and the refs played the advantage, and it hasn't paid out. I think the boys would just rather have a scrum every time at this rate. It might be not very pretty to watch. It's like Simsy in a shower, but if it's beneficial for the team, I think Matt would much rather be happy with that.
Do you care to elaborate on your Peter Sims anecdote?
It's just Peter. Just, you know, it's Peter Sims' one-directional rugby. It's just not pretty to watch. But Simsy's a good lad. I think he's stepping in today. Jack Murphy, he's been playing hooker. Him and Pete have been sharing the role this season, and Jack couldn't play today because of a hamstring injury or something. And Pete stepped in, and his lineouts have been superb, and he's scrummaging really well. So very happy for Pete.
So a change in the back row for Romford and Gidea. Looks like Freddie Tarling has come on. Saville again. Romford have been inventive in the way they've managed to get the ball back whilst going backwards at a rate of knots, and this time a penalty. The referee quick to make a decision. So a chance for Romford to reduce the deficit to just 2.
The way Inwood's been kicking, I'd expect another 3 points here. Very nice technique, drives the ball straight.
And Tom, despite being an inside centre, that penalty against Harpenden there, your take on why it was given?
Well, we've got the drive on there. We had the shove on, we've got the drive on. And Sean, I think, at tight head, or at loose head, sorry, he's dipped and he's gone under. And to be quite honest, I mean, Sean's the one who's got the drive on, so Sean's going forward, and you know, all it takes is their prop to lean up and stand up a little bit, and Sean will slip down, and with all the momentum behind him, it's just he's almost guided Sean to the floor, and there's not much Sean can do about that. I guess it's Sean's responsibility to try and be controlled in the drive, and the boys, but a little bit over-eager, and they've collapsed the scrum. He's missed it.
Yeah, the attempt on goal missed. So from a 22 dropout, Harpenden restart, hammered down the middle. Gidea through Inwood, finds a little bit of space, but plenty of numbers back for Harpenden, and Sweeney goes to the skies again. That's gone over the head of Inwood. So as our clock approaches 40, good step from Inwood. He had to double it up as well, then slipping. Harpenden latching onto him, and if they've managed to turn that could be dangerous. It's still going to stay on Romford's side as the 40-minute mark in this first period approaches. A reminder that our clock is not linked to the referees, more of a guide. But as this half does approach a conclusion, can Harpenden capitalise on this field position before it does?
They'll be really hoping the ref's got a few more minutes on his watch here. because this is a catch and drive situation, and all the boys will be saying it.
So from a similar position just 10 minutes ago, the first try went the way of Harpenden. They're a little further out. But Peter Sims accurate again. Ryan Gu goes in on the ball initially. Back from a year in the United States this season. Ryan Gu. And Harpenden head off at a rate of knots this time towards the line. Good almost looks for the opportunity to peel. Now he's
got to get over that line.
Tries to go for himself. It's gone to the floor. Eventually, Romford and Gidea get to grips with this forward 8 of Harpenden, which is running amok in its own way at the moment. Now launching for the line again. Carbon copy of the first try, if this can be dotted down in this manner. Black shirts still throwing themselves at the ball.
Got a penalty as well.
The next taxi off the rank. Fighting to get to the line. Romford and Gidea's stoic at the moment. It keeps coming though. The next wave lines up. But after the referee's whistle, he wants to have a word. The man being spoken to, Harry Clark, in Romford's ranks. Actually, even Mickey James, their captain.
With it being so close to the end of the first half, the boys will be really, really keen to get some points here. I think that's why we didn't spread it wide. Playing percentage rugby, giving it to Rolfie and Goody. We've got some big sides on the bench as well, which is nice to see. Ed Preston, who I can see his sizeable rear running up and down the touchline. So it'd be good to get those boys on at some point in the second half and just keep up this dominance in the forward pack. That being said, it's good defence from Romford. They've kept us out there.
It's coming at a cost for Romford. One of their players being checked over by the medics. Now back on his feet, and the likes of Dwayne Lynn, Tommy Shepherd and Ben Wrigley in the back row for Romford had better look lively here.
You can see just in the background how many cars have shown up today. For those of you not familiar, that they've actually used the training pitch as an extra car park, which just shows you how many people have shown up today. And about 7 caravans have appeared, strangely.
Were you expecting people to stay?
We weren't, no, we weren't. I hope that's some overnight kippers.
So close now, Harpenden. Can it be all the way? Good is there, Good is poised, and Good is just short.
That was a try to me. I thought he was on the line.
Gulliford was wrapped up in that, so
yeah.
Now it's scored. Now it's definitely scored.
Oh, that is Dr. Colonel Sanders, I believe, who's just scored that, showing his rugby intelligence. Just dipping the ball over the line. I thought Good had made it, but
did look for all money that Good would just have to pick it and place it. Some defence to stop him having to do that, but there was to be no stopping. Harpenden, really good defence initially from Dwayne Lynn. But there was his opposite man, Sanders, and then in a blink of an eye, and I couldn't see it from our pictures, but it was dotted down. The referee had his arm in the air again. So this first half now looking very good for Harpenden. This may take us into half-time too. 16 points to 6 with this conversion from Tom Sweeney to come.
There's a touch more animation in the boys, just coming back from that second try. You can see there's a few smiles starting to creep in, a little bit more energy. I think the boys are really happy with how that first half's gone.
And he has bisected the uprights to end the first half on a personal high. And for Harpenden, 18 points to 6 they lead. It was a slow start. It was nervy at times, but they have come through it. And through the physicality of their forward pack, They have muscled 2 tries, one from number 7, Tom Sanders, and one from Michael Good as well. And Tom Stagg with me in the commentary box here. That represents a pretty good 40 minutes work.
It really does, yeah, considering that the time spent camped in our 22 from Romford. They had that opportunity, and I think that when we think back to that tackle from Sweeney and Goody in the corner, where the guy was in for all the money in the world and he just got smashed into touch. Moments like that they're huge, because it means Romford ended up coming away with 3 points, not 5 or 7, and get back down the other end of the field and come away with points ourselves. They'll be happy. They'll be really happy, especially because we've not done anything expansive. I think we tried to go out the back once and there was a knock on, but we're playing really simple, structured rugby. And if we carry on like this, as long as Romford don't have too much, at some point you'd assume Romford are going to switch up and they're going to go for it as well. So can't read too much into it, but the boys will be happy.
And particularly in terms of individuals who led the team throughout that half, who would you look to pick praise on initially?
To be honest, both Sweeney and the Romford 10, their kicking has been pretty sharp. But Sweeney, I think, has just won the battle. Some of his kicks into the corner have put pressure on. There was a kick into the corner that forced a line out in their 22. Little kicks from Tom Sweeney and his defence, I think, have been really sharp. And to be honest, the forward pack from Harpenden, Goody's been carrying and getting around the field. And you've got to give some praise, I think, to Fred for orchestrating that at 9. I can see him pointing with his little T-Rex arms and directing his troops where they need to be.
Yeah, Fred Gulliford at 9, and has been a nice ride for him as well at times, because the forward pack have been in 6th gear during the scrum at certain points in this first half.
I think, just looking at the forward pack, I think we've got the weight advantage, which is great. We've got Sean and Rolfie, who are just 2 massive boys, and they don't seem to match us in the weight category, but they do match us in size in the rest of the backs. In the rest of the forwards. So, we don't want to be in a position where we're starting to get tired because of the size we've got, and that they're that touch fresher. So there'll be a lot of, I think, management. I'd like to see the boys managing Rolfie correctly, because we don't want Rolfie to blow out, and we don't want the boys losing their steam for sure.
There have been certain injuries this season, haven't there, Tom? There's another tight head prop whose name escapes me now, who has been prominent throughout the season, who are not unable to make the 15 today.
Yeah, we've got Staffy, who joined us this season, who is a huge human being. He's actually, I think he's bigger than Rolfie, which says a lot. The two of them actually, from what I understand, they've actually had to make a bigger slot in the changing room for those 2 boys if they're playing in the same team, because there's just no room for them to sit next to each other. Staffy got injured, and Ollie Mann, our fly half, who keeps me out of the team fairly regularly, he's missing today. He's not missing, he's out there with the water bottles, which is great to see. There's a few injuries, but the boys, I think we've shown this year, people can step in and play.
Yeah, really tough season for Ollie Mann, breaking his leg early on, and then after, I think, a match-winning try, gaining another injury, which has ruled him out for the run into this playoff final. And as we like to round things off when we can, the sun is shining again after it started the match like this, and we may start the second half in that, and presumably that means that we're in for a hell of a lot of rain in the second period too.
Yeah, absolutely. It's so funny that on the TV screen the sun is shining, the clouds are there. It's a lovely day. Looking the other side, it's just Jimmy Spears laughing at me, and just lots of grey, horrible weather. It looks awful. Cheers, Jimmy. Thank you. Can I have a beer, Jimmy?
You have got 2 here.
I can't.
And I thought when you brought 2, one for the first half, one for the second half, if that's the case, you need to get drinking on the first one.
I can't open them. I've got no way to get into them.
Can you not use your car keys?
Can you? Because I can't. I don't know how to do it.
I could, but I'd need to charge for that.
Yeah, I think you push it.
I need to charge some corkage. That's how we work here at Cheers Mate Productions, I'm afraid.
Just outing me and my alcoholic tendencies there is always nice.
I think I'd quite fancy you to open it, so I can probably try and nick
absolutely.
Nick a swick or 2.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you know what you're doing? There you go. Sorry,
we've now recruited Matt, our director, to do the job.
I don't know what to do. Oh God, I think we want to.
It's actually vital we get it going. To explain the situation, we've tried keys. We've now tried the end of a table, and it's only a Copperberg, and now we're taking to Tom's teeth to get it open. Which I think
we've done it.
That's worked.
There we go. Oh.
Right in time for the second half. The first cider of Tom Stagg's afternoon. You do deserve one, Tom.
Thank you.
Your victory in the second 15.
Four
earlier
from
today.
6 kicks from me today, so I had a good day at the office. Unlike Tristan Francis, who was woeful.
4 from 6. What percentage is 4 from 6?
I believe it's 4 from 6 is 66%.
66%. Yeah, it's not bad, that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's worth a Copperberg. So, second half underway here. Fly half Rossinwood goes deep with Romford and Gidea. Park with it all to do in this second period. No one at home. The ball bouncing unkindly for Romford because they were chasing that one hard. Well, actually, unkindly for Harpenden. They were chasing that one hard.
It was a lovely kick from Sweeney to knock it down there. It was really, really nice. I think, as I highlighted, his kicking today has already been a big impact, and it's just happened again. He almost didn't play. He had a swelling on his elbow that was pretty disgusting, which seems to have gone down. I can't really see. He's got it strapped up by the look of it.
Well, apologies for the lack of picture, but we are getting that back underway. Play is going on, if you can still hear us. Nothing too dramatic. It's tied up. And Romford and Gidea with the advantage. Play it out of their 22.
Looks like we're back.
And we're back again. Technical work of the highest order. We shouldn't have caused a distraction in opening that drink at half-time, I don't think. Tom, but here, Romford and Gidea breaking out well, and there's good speed on that right wing. Almost kept in, but Harpenden will have the line out, and it will be another chance for Peter Sims to show off his accuracy in that regard. He's been very good this afternoon so far. Can't think of one line out that's gone astray from Harpenden's perspective. Taken down in the lineup by Rolf. Set up. And setting off.
There we go.
Harpenden so strong in this area of the game. Ripping into the 22. The second wave has to reform. That they do well.
It's like Pete Sims has got the ball in the mixer there.
Gulliford almost lights the ball, but decides that there's more juice to be had from the forwards going round the corner. Now Gulliford.
We've got a penalty here, penalty advantage. I think they're going to sling it. Oh, Fred
Gulliford just slips. There were numbers away to his right. It's going to be a yellow card here, I think, for Romford and Gidea. The referee calling the Romford players over. And indeed it is. Down to 14, the guilty party, Carl Presto. The loose head sent off for 10 minutes.
A great start for Harpenden in that respect. To get that kick from Sweeney down here and to reduce them to 10 players with just too much pressure. Too much pressure on that line out, causing them to have to concede a penalty. From what I understand, that big tanker you can see in the background, Maury Oils, is actually full of beer for celebrations after the game. So I cannot wait.
Well, that is a rumour to spread round, considering there are also 2 other tankers with Maury Oils written on the side.
One of them is just for George Rolfe alone.
One for George Rolfe, and everyone else has to share the other 2.
They do.
There is Tom Rolfe taking it down. And again, there's so much fruit to be had from this driving maul, and they storm over the line again.
Oh,
the third try, surely.
It's been held up. Oh no, it's not.
It's been given.
I think that's a penalty try. I don't know if I don't know if he's given a try or a penalty try there, or he's given a penalty. I'm not sure.
Another yellow card, down to 13.
Because it's a penalty, not a try. I think there's just it's just absolute chaos when Harpenden are driving to the line. Their players are they're all over the shop, trying to do all sorts to try and keep them out.
Penalty. Scrum the choice, and there is George Rolfe, no doubt eyeing up the tanker which has been designated for him. He has to do a bit more work until he can get to that point, though.
But you know what? It is tiring scrummaging, of course, but the way the rest of the game's been, it's not been expansive, it's not been open, so there's not been too much running, and there's plenty of running left in those legs. It's going to be interesting to see what Harpenden do here, because the scrum's dominant, but there's only about 3 players guarding the Harpenden backs by the look of it. So will they spin it, or no, keep it in there, Gidea.
Good does just that. Heading off again, and that time, no problems.
That was like Charlesy going down on a cupcake there, just instant, and gets the reward.
So the third try from Harpenden. This the one that almost was the second try. The ball perfectly under control from Michael Good. And this time no problems with putting it down.
They've gone back to their serious faces though, Harpenden. I can tell you that there's players walking around barking orders to each other, getting water on board, and lots of the job's not done yet speech coming from Captain Lacey. Although Tegan is just smiling and winking at someone in the crowd by the look of it.
Sweeney expertly curls it in from the left-hand side on the left foot. 2 more points to his tally. 25 points to 6 now, which Harpenden lead. And Michael Good now on a hat-trick too, the number 8.
That's a great carry from Pete Sims.
Sanders, another try scorer who was taking the hard line. Ollie Lacey. Ball works back. Now along the line. A little bit more creativity here. Sweeney making the difference. Plenty more numbers ready and trying to cause havoc in the Romford defence. It'll be a penalty. And from here, a chance for Sweeney to get back into Romford territory again.
Great intensity on the carries there from Harpenden. Pete Sims like a rampant rabbit burrowing his way through the field. But I think that Matt, I know what Matt's like. He's got his calves out somewhere, and he'll be nervous that the boys are going to start chucking the ball around and start playing, because they're down to 13 men. The sun's coming out a little bit. He will not want the boys to steer away from the game plan, which is to keep it tight and use those forward pack. Well, that's a huge nudge from Sweeney to get us in the corner.
Yeah, guess what's coming from here. Sims does the first part well. Sanders puts his head down and tucks the ball under his left arm as the maul creeps in field. Gulliford either joining the maul or trying to wrestle it out. At the moment, just putting his head down and trying to get the 4th try from exactly the same source.
It's difficult. The ref can't see, I don't think, when it's like that. Is Pennell going bald, or is that just the light? I'm not sure. We've got Johnny Mack joining us from Dubai to watch the game. Johnny used to play for Harpenden, and probably played when we got promoted last time. It's great to see the old guard getting back involved.
Yeah, Johnny Mack, we're delighted to have your company here. We may be about to witness a hat-trick score for Michael Good. The scrum goes back initially, but now order is restored, and Good
just towing it
stepping
forward
towards footballing skills required in this second half, and he's got a second.
Look, he's full of energy, straight back into it. Lovely stuff. And the boys, as I say, they didn't deviate from the game plan. This is business today, and they're getting it done so far. But they'll want to take advantage. I know it's 25-6 and we just scored again, but they'll be so aware that there's 2 players missing from Romford, and when they come back, the game's going to even up again. So they want to milk this and get as many points on the board as possible.
Yeah, those 2 yellow cards really being felt, really being made to be felt by Harpenden.
Once again, looking at the players' faces, there's almost zero enjoyment at the moment. They know the job's not done. They're just walking back into position, ready to go again. There's no celebrating. There's no smiling yet, apart from Tegan again. But yeah, the boys know the job's not done yet. It's still a serious amount of rugby to be played.
So good from Sweeney. 32 points to 6. Bonus points irrelevant in the playoffs, but that was the 4th try for Harpenden. Over the course of the season, 18 points from bonus points were picked up by the hosts here. We finished 8 points behind the league winners, Belsize Park. And Matt Davies this week was telling me that, yeah, promotion. He feels the side would be in a good place to stay up if they were promoted through this playoff game. Never easy being the new boys into a higher league, but if that is to be their destiny, and it's looking very likely at the moment, despite Romford on the ball and looking threatening for the first time in this second half. If it is to be their destiny, then for a club, Tom, what do you think it would mean?
I mean, I think it's huge. I think I actually was in the team last time we got promoted, and I remember playing last game of the season, Woodford away, when we got relegated, and it went down to the wire though. It went down to that. We competed, and the boys are in so much of a better position now. So much structure, so much talent at the club that I'd expect us to go up there and give it a real good go. And we've heard that from clubs who have gone up recently. Chiswick's coach messaged us and basically, gave us a good reference that we'll do well in that league.
Romford and Gidea being repelled from even entering the 22. Saville it was who was being manhandled.
Ed Preston's come on, which is good to see. Fresh pair of legs.
Picking and going again. Go Romford. It's been all one-way traffic since the scores were tied at 6-all after 25 minutes in the first half. 4 tries, all going the way of Harpenden. This really the first chance for Romford to reply and try and get on the score sheet since then.
George Rolfe just laying all over him like a surfboard there, just not letting him stand up.
Captain Ross Inwood.
That's a knock on.
Fly half Ross Inwood, sorry. But that's where the play ends, and advantage was being played, so we come back and taking quickly. Stepping out of the first. Good strength shown from Paul Webb.
That's really disappointing. Harpenden getting pinged for not back 10 there. They just weren't alert. Maybe they thought that Romford would go for the corner or a scrum, but they've tapped it and they're looking dangerous.
Big shirted number 4, Aidan Murch. Romford so close now. Saville. Inwood. Flies it across to Lynn, and Lynn just can't quite gather. But they still have the penalty, I think, for not being back 10 metres from the quick tap and go earlier. Great period of the second half this for Romford and Gidea Park. They must make it pay.
They've got some reinforcements coming on. They've got two new players coming on. Number 30.
And I think Ross Inwood, sorry to cut you off, Tom, has just put it dead rather than out into touch.
He has. I think they got that battle. Sweeney, it's Goo that's scoring the tries and the forwards are fronting up, but Sweeney's kicking is making a huge difference. And because little mistakes like that, it costs you so dearly. And when you can kick accurately to the corner and slot your goals like he has, it's made a huge difference for us. I expect Goo to carry out of this with Charlesy supporting him. And the Good running at you in full flight is not nice.
So Harpenden with the chance now to clear the lines.
I'm not getting you a bit.
Well, if you're just joining us, tuning into this, the score in the left-hand corner tells its own story. It really has been, so far, a very impressive performance from Harpenden. 4 tries in all. They've scored all through the dominance of the forward pack. It has been a forward-led game there. The all-court game which Harpenden have been known for in previous seasons had to be changed slightly for this season. Matt Davies required a tweak in strategy, and that strategy has been brought to full effect in this playoff game here. They have been utterly dominant up front.
They have. George Rolfe has practically ate their scrum. It looks like it anyway. It's been very, very dominant. As I say, there's plenty of running left in those boys. They're not, gone are the days when we would dominate in the scrum and have to go off after an hour because we're too tired. It looks like the boys have got plenty left. But as you say, that we have changed a little bit. Luke Barber was our top try scorer this year, who left from fullback. We've got no Max Baggio, who was a superstar winger. So gone are the days of Jouet that Harpenden used to employ. Although it's still there. It's just a case of the right system for the right opposition. And we might see a little bit more of it now as the backs get involved.
And Tom, in your time at the club, how long has it been?
I actually joined from under 17s. I started playing for the first team when I was about 18 and was top point scorer actually 2 or 3 years ago. Just want to drop that in to remind people because no one talks about it.
It's really important to get that out there.
I mean, I made no tackles. I made absolutely 0 tackles, and I was only top point scorer because I kicked conversions under the post after our superstar winger scored them. But yeah, no, and I've watched the boys, especially most of these guys, come in, join the club. Oh, here we go.
Lovely arcing break. The tackle slipped. Eventually, Harpenden get back though.
I've watched them build it over the last 3 or 4 years to get to where we are now, and the time is definitely right. When we almost went up last year, I think people thought we might have missed the boat, but the guys have come in. Halesey stepped in and played 10. New guys like Starfy have really complemented the old guard, like Sean, who's 49 years old. He's not, but he's definitely 40. Making tackles for fun out there.
Comes along the line. Inwood pings it out. Billy Nelson.
I think Charlesy's just stolen the ball. No.
Still with Thomas Medallia, the new scrum half on for Romford and Gidea Park. Nelson again, off his wing. The big number 11. Medallia keeps opening up. There are spaces in the Harpenden defence now. Taken in. Was that the right decision there? Looked
like it was on, didn't it?
Way to the right. Still are on the left. Hits come flying in. Just 5 metres away now, Romford and Gidea from there. First try in this playoff game.
Oh!
Interception.
Go on, Chubbs! Go on, Chubbs!
Now can
Nick
Childs over halfway. Run it in from here. He's chased back. Oh. Support from Wilkinson is good, but slipping as he gathered.
More time in the gym, less time at the buffet, Childs. It's on. You've got to score here. Go on, Helsing, back yourself. Oh, the Jouet is back. Oh, Charlesy, he intercepted that ball like me and Greg's grabbing a sausage roll.
Will Hales, the scorer in the end. And what a score.
I can see Fred from here. He's all business. He's walking back, moaning at someone. Because he knows, I know it's 35 or whatever, but... Oh, here we go.
Tom Stagg living and breathing every step of that breakaway try.
Sorry, I got a bit excited, guys. Sorry for screaming.
Nick Childs, great break. Well picked off from the inside centre. Is he the best inside centre to have graced this pitch today, Tom Stagg, or not?
No, definitely not, actually. I think what I achieved earlier today eclipses anything that's happened so far in this second game. No, he's
you have to back yourself in this sport, Tom. It's great to hear.
Considering no one saw it, I can say what I want. Yeah, but no, Charles, he's been very good today. Very solid in defence, and Tegan as well. He's done the smart thing, the reads, the when to step in, when to not necessarily the big hits, but when to step in and when to force the kick or force the pass is great. I've not seen Charlesy swoop down on a ball like that for a long time. That was great to watch. It was like a throwback. Charlesy used to be an unbelievable athlete. But he too, like me, found dominoes. What a nudge from Sweeney.
Sweeney finding 2 points so easily. Takes the score up to 39-6. And just as Romford were finding a groove and almost you felt about to find a 5-pointer too, back under their sticks, another 7 points down. The hour mark has been hit, and so too of their chances of making it into the league above.
Yeah, that's got to be very demoralising for them. I thought they were in a few times, and to just get a killer blow like that when you're dominating the game is very difficult. I think for them to, you can see their body language, hands on hips, heads down. They've played well. I think the defence has been good for Harpenden, and a few key moments have gone our way. The scrum, when the scrum's as dominant as it is, what can you do?
Yeah, and with another 20 minutes still to play as well, it's the kind of 20 minutes at the end of a season where it's gone. Yeah, you don't want to have to play it.
Yeah, they don't want to. Wouldn't want to be there. And I know to be honest, I don't think the Harpenden boys would want to be there. They just want this game over, because as much as they'll be tempted to start the Jouet, they just want the final whistle to go so they can go up. Oh, Jack Murphy, who's just joined us, who couldn't play today. How do you think the game went?
Let's have a Jack Murphy takeover.
I think it's going very well at the moment. Harpenden obviously in control.
Yeah, the controller himself would be proud of this, wouldn't he?
He would be very proud.
Back to yours tonight?
Possibly, we'll see what happens.
Yeah, definitely. Back to the manor for some good, clean fun.
Some good old-fashioned fun. So
how do you feel missing out, Matt Jack, with that injury?
Oh, it's terrible. Terrible. Very jealous of the boys today.
Yeah, me too. And sadly, we've had to see Pete Simmons in a tight t-shirt, so that's let everyone down.
Well, he's playing well.
He's playing very well. His darts have been on fire.
Yes.
What's the vibe out from the bench? Well, how's Davies settling in?
There's a lot of excitement. A lot of excitement going on down there, Jeff.
Thanks, Jeff. Scrum time. I think we know what's coming here. Hopefully a big drive from Harpenden and Goo to get his hands on that ball. Do you want to see the backs open up, Jack? Or are you happy with the way it is?
I'm happy with the forwards keeping it very tight game.
Yeah. Oh, Tegan. He looks like the bad guy from Titanic, but he does defend well. Who's been your player of the game?
Well, I think Goody's having an absolute stormer, in my opinion.
He is. Oh, no way.
Oh.
Was that a foul? No. Oh, that is...
And we're not happy with that call.
I'm not happy with that call. And he's actually yellow carding him. Now, that to me is such a soft yellow. That is an example, I think, of the ref who's had a good game. He's evening up the game. Yeah, that wasn't a yellow card. I should know. What do you think, Jack? Am I too harsh on the ref?
Cheers, mate. Oh, that's
Is this a yellow card? I don't know. Here it comes. Look, is it? But we're off. Look at that. Look, he's just picked him up. Oh yeah, it's a yellow card. Sorry, ref. That is definitely a yellow card. He's lucky to still be on the field.
He's not on the field.
Oh, he has been yellow carded. Sorry, you're right.
Harpenden got the ball back.
We don't want to...
Keeping it tight, as expected.
It's tighter than Danby's wallet so far.
Harpenden defence coming in strong.
That's big Al
That's
Carrington.
good. That's Al Whittaker.
Al Whittaker. Who's Al Carrington?
Don't know. One of your mates.
Go on, Sweeney. Little chip.
Sweeney with the attack.
He's so dreamy.
God, I wish I was Sweeney.
I'd do anything to have his rig. Not his personality, though. He is a knob.
Oh, hell's
oh, this is what we're talking about. The jouet is starting to creep in a little bit. I don't think Matt will be happy with that.
No. Oh, big charge down, and they've kicked it forward, and he's offside, ref.
It's gone a little bit chaotic there, as I think that's Goody who's coming back, or Goo.
Oh. Good counter ruck from
the boys
Romford there, but Harpenden retained the ball. Pistol Pete goes in.
Did you see who scored our first try? Was it Goody?
I didn't see who scored our first try, no.
Thanks for that. It's got to stay in field. That was it has done.
Oh, they've got numbers here. Romford have got numbers here.
Sweeney, he should not have undercut there. He should have stayed on his wing.
And I trust Sweeney to make that tackle, and he's in touch, and that is a great tackle. Great try-saving tackle from Tom Sweeney.
Oh my gosh, that is
outrageous. He's delicious. Oh. He's sexy. He's the man of the moment.
He really is. He really is. Best rig in the team?
Yeah, I think he's probably got the best rig in the team.
Yeah, yes. I think... Back. It's absolutely fine. He does have the best rig in the team, although he did lose the rig off in Brighton 2 years ago to Luke Barber. Who
that was a good old-fashioned rig off.
It was.
Everyone loves a good old-fashioned rig off.
They do.
A Harpenden classic, that is.
It is.
No, taking the man in the air.
I'm not sure where this penalty is. The ref won't stop walking.
And we've gone in for a closer look. The Sweeney trick.
What's underneath that shirt, Jack? Talk me through it.
Deliciousness.
A little over, probably 15 minutes to go. And the boys now will just be hunting the try line as much as they'll be hunting the final whistle.
Trucking it up. Here we go, Harpenden.
Do you want a copper bag, Jack?
Yeah, that'd be great.
There you go.
And there's another strong ball from Harpenden.
Rolf, are you expecting 80 minutes from Big George today?
Well, yes. He's been dominant in the scrums.
Oh, here we go, Jouet. We're off.
Forward pass.
Oh, that'll be the ginger in him slowing him down again.
Ah, the ginger in him. So we're getting to that time of the game, Tom. Who is your man of the match so far?
I think you can't look past the scrum. How dominant the scrum's been, guys.
It's been so dominant.
It has. It's like, as I say, it's like Tristan at an all-you-can-eat buffet. It's dominant, and he's everywhere.
He's everywhere, absolutely everywhere.
But he's been. But Sweeney, and I've talked about him a lot today. But his kicking has been fantastic. I think Fred's marshalled his troops very well, despite his shortcomings.
Fred Gulliford,
beautiful.
and again Harpenden dominant in scrum.
Oh, I can expect a lot of naked tables sliding in the clubhouse tonight from these boys.
You would only expect it, wouldn't you? Best club in the world.
Certainly in South Hertfordshire, for sure.
We're North Hertfordshire.
Well, there you go. Our outreach is to the south. What about you? Your man of the match? Oh, sorry, I completely forgot about Good. Good has just been absolutely outrageous today.
Yes, Goody has.
The game just in a danger of slipping into quite a quiet tempo today as the clock ticks on. I think Harpenden will think the game is won. There's a quite quiet resignation from
We shouldn't
Romford.
get complacent.
No, you shouldn't get complacent, like I have over the years with my dietary habits. You shouldn't. Go on, Simsy, look at this. How's his darts?
KFC is a way of life.
It is.
And here's another dominant maul from Harpenden. Oh, they are coming through. They're coming through strong. They are very coming through strong.
We've actually got, we're joined by Harpenden fly half Halsey.
During
Will
the game,
Hales.
it's the first time ever this has happened.
Oh, and sorry, Chubbs is making a break.
Oh
It's
my
gone to Simcott. Simcott's.
Oh.
So he's gliding through.
He checked in at Back Yourself Hotel.
Oh,
He's off.
he had no jollies. He had to come back.
There goes Billy Sash, personal trainer extraordinaire. Find him on Instagram and
Yeah.
YouTube.
Billy's Fitness. Follow Billy Sach.
Billy Sash.
Billy Sosh.
Big George wants a
And,
tip.
Oh, great break from Goody. It's all Harpenden now.
Sweeney
Oh, and he cuts in.
Oh.
He cuts in, and he's over. And Sweeney, and he's always delicious. Great try from Tom Sweeney.
That was like watching a Ricky Martin video, the way his hips were moving. That was outrageous. So, Halsey, Jack, do you mind getting Halsey in with some headphones? There we go, Halsey demonstrating how not to wear a set of headphones. Just having a quick look at Sweeney there, the dancing feet. It's just delightful to see, and I think he's deserved it. What a fantastic afternoon for the Sween dog. Halsey, what was it like out there? Talk us through it.
It was pretty tough in that first half. They were physical. We made a few mistakes with the rain and the hail, but we came through. With that, wow, that's a good pun, Jack. But no, I think we've come through the second half. Forwards have just overpowered them, and they've broken away here. It's been good.
What was the instruction like from Davies? Even though we were winning, even though you're dominating the scrums, what was he saying?
Don't give it anywhere near Hales, I think he said at one point. He was dropping it a little bit in that first half, but no, it was basically keep it tight, kick it in the corners, and play simple rugby. I think so. I'll blame the drop balls on being very wet out there, the greasy surface. So it has been quite tough for the backs. But we started Childsy, lovely intercept to set up.
Yeah.
I think it was a winger who scored the try. I can't quite remember who that was. He was very quick, whoever it was.
He had some wheels, yeah.
But it's been good.
Helps when you're coming up against a prop.
Yeah, well, I thought he was a winger actually. Yeah,
It's
never mind.
it's difficult to judge from watching, but how have Romford been? Are they physical? Are they putting in hits, or has it been a fairly muted second half from them with the scoreline?
I think in the it's been in the second half it's been pretty muted. Here we go.
Goody's off again.
Goody powering through. Yeah, I think that in the second half our power and perhaps a little bit of fitness has shown through. In the first half they were pretty intense. Just their fly half caught me a couple of times with some good shots. Well, I think as Ed Preston battles his way through.
That's some farmer strength from Ed there.
Yeah. I think it's hard to look past the forwards in fairness, as much as I would like to give it to a back.
I think Sweeney's kicking has been fairly delightful.
Yeah, Sweeney has been brilliant as usual off the tee.
But Goody's just been like a hungry hippo.
Yeah, I think it'd be hard to look past Goody's 4 try here.
4 tries.
I think it's 4. Is it 4 or 3?
Sorry, I thought you said 4 pies. I got excited for a second.
I hope someone's listening.
Oh dear.
How many beers have you had, Steggy?
I've actually only had 1 or 2. I'm afraid. I just come off the field myself after putting in a performance pretty exceptionally today.
Oh really? What was the 2 score?
Did you see my conversions?
If I'm honest, I was slightly sort of in the zone before the game.
Yeah, I can
how many
imagine.
did you get?
I got 4 from 6 drop kicks from the touchline.
Oh, exceptional.
Yeah, exactly.
A drop kick is always good in club rugby, I feel.
Exactly. Unnecessary, but that's the way I play. But no, the twos had a really good game. The twos, if you didn't know, just won their semi-finals. They're in the final of the cup in a couple of weeks' time. So there's another big day of rugby for Harpenden. But I mean, it doesn't quite match the feat that these boys have done today. It looks, for all the will in the world, that they are going to get promoted to London 1. How impressed are you with the likes of George Rolfe, Sean McLaughlin, the big forwards that have scrummaged so well, and they're still on the field with 10 minutes to go, battling, getting around?
Absolutely. I think George Rolfe was slightly disappointed when he saw the team sheet and saw that there were no sort of specialist front row replacements because.
Oh, stop it!
That's brilliant hands from the back.
I'm sure Lacey was disappointed as well because he doesn't like to step in, does he?
Not particularly, and so our sort of tactic has been sort of 20 minutes off for Staff and Rolfe most of the season, which has worked brilliantly well. But Rolfe knew he was up against it today, but has been exceptional for a man of his size.
Yeah, absolutely.
Getting around the park
That's
well.
That's a penalty. That's got to be a penalty. Sweeney here, missed pass. Charlesy, little tip. Go on, Ed, back yourself. Oh, stop it, Ed. Oh, Charlesy.
Oh, fantastic. That's exceptional rugby.
That is great to watch, isn't it? That is just great. That is just wonderful rugby.
It's good to see Nick Childs passing there as well, isn't it, Steve?
Yeah, honestly, he holds on to it like a jacket potato sometimes. 2 hands, refusing to pass. But look at this. Sweeney to Charles is really coming to his own in the last 20 minutes. He's played really well. And Ed has come on. Ed with that Billy Sage fitness. And look at that, Pennell diving into the corner unnecessarily. But he is ginger, so that's what you get, isn't it, really? So really happy. Thank you very much, Halsey.
Cheers, Daggy.
Get back in there, join your boys. and
enjoy your evening. I'm sure I'll see you in the bar later.
I'm sure I'll see you not wearing many clothes. That was Will Hales, the starting fly half today, who put in a really good shift and got a try. There's some whooping and hollering going on from the Harpenden bench as we put 50 points up in one of the greatest days in the club's history.
Sorry to crash the Tom Stagg takeover.
So interesting insight from Halsey. It sounds like a fairly comfortable day at the office from within the trenches. But yeah, he's just marvelling at George Rolfe and Sean, the big props that are going to play 80 minutes today, and they're going to scrum like that and keep playing.
On the touchline, the talk is of Billy Satch passing the ball in the build-up to that try, something which everyone was commenting on about how surprised they were to see that. Now, in all the ins and outs that we've had, Tom, did the man of the match be decided?
It was. I mean, Halesey's tried to give me some advice, but I don't need a compass to tell me which way the wind shines. I think it's either got to be it's either the front row or it's Gidea, and I think we've got to give the forward pack a nod because Goody's not scoring those pushover tries without the seven other ones with him. It's hard to look past 4 tries. He's also, I think Goody's also caught the ball really well off kickoffs. He's carried well. He's tackled well. But once again, you could also give it to Sean and Rolfe in the front row. But I think Goody's got to take it. It's been a fantastic team performance, really. It really has. Childsy in the last 20 minutes. Ed's come on and ran them ragged. So yeah, really impressed with the boys.
Still time for more as well. Our clock is not necessarily what is on the wrist of our referee, but it does give an indicator. We are knocking on the door of time here, but they still keep going. Lovely break from Gulliford. Broad on, and now Wilkinson looking for a second in quick succession.
Can he spin it wide? I think this is where can the boys keep calm and composed, get another try. You can see everyone's looking for a try now. Everyone's hungry.
Sweeney loops it out almost round the back.
We're gonna
Picked
score.
up by Sweeney. Draws the man, goes himself, and then gets the offload too. Another score.
It's Billy Sash in the corner. I feel a bit guilty not giving Sweeney the man of the match now. Billy off the bench with a really composed finish.
There's definitely a little bit of jiggery-pokery going on with your shirt numbers. Billy Sash and Henry Simcott, I think, have reversed what we were given in the pre-match.
Yeah, there is a little bit of shirt number swapping because not all the backs can fit the shirts as required. I think Charles's is actually specially made for the slightly larger back. There's I myself wear a double XL prop shirt, so it's not always cut and dry.
It's a prop shirt with a 12 on the back.
Yeah, pretty much.
Specially modified.
Specially modified, extra material flown in from China to give Charlesy enough room to squeeze into that one. But he's played very well today, Nick. And there's a few high fives going around. I don't know if it is. No, there's still time left. Yeah. And here's a man of very little words. Whispering Wilco's joined us. Adam, do you fancy giving us your 2 cents?
Yeah, go on then.
Talk me through it, Adam. What was it like out there?
I mean, I didn't do very much.
I can tell.
I made a few tackles.
Did you?
Well, maybe one.
Oh, well done.
I think I passed the ball once.
Yep.
Sweeney's done pretty much everything, kicked everything.
He's been really good, hasn't he?
Absolute beast. Oh, that's in a final whistle. There's a short-lived
Oh.
commentary.
Oh, well, here we are. Here we are in the booth.
I better get back and shake some people's hands.
Oh, I can't believe it. Get back out there, Adam. I'll see you in the bar later. That is classic Wilkinson. Very illuminating stuff as usual from Adam.
And it's a new experience for myself there, having just commentated on what I thought was Adam Wilkinson, instead of someone who is entirely different stepping in, introducing himself as Adam Wilkinson.
Yeah, no, I didn't spot the change myself. He's so very underwhelming. He doesn't say much, Adam, so you never really know where he is. I think we're going to see a little bit of celebrating from the boys, but yeah, it was very one-sided today.
Yeah, well, we'll keep our cameras rolling whilst we see that. But Tom Stagg, we've done the man of the match. Your impression on the team, though, and the qualification, of course, for London North 1 next season is going to be quite a good one.
Absolutely, yeah. I think the boys are going to go from the biggest transition is going to be we've gone from winning every week or expecting to win every week to a situation now where we might lose every other game, we might lose all the games. It's a real challenge, and I think the boys are going to have to really. They're going to have to get up to training. They're going to have to really work hard, and I think we're in for a tough season basically. But there's a lot of talent there. There's a lot of really good players, and we've said for a while that there probably is the ability to play at a higher level, and now looks like we've done it.
And of the two teams that will go up from this league, Belsize Park being the other, do you think you've got just as much chance of staying in the division as they would? Or are they definitely out in ahead in a way?
No, I think there's a lot of similarities in terms of ability. I think a lot rests on the size of a front row and a front five. And if you can scrummage and you can win your line-outs and you've got a really professional, heavy forward setup, it's going to bode well. Because that league above, you do need to have a big pack about you. So I think the cornerstone, the foundation being that pack strength really does bode well for next year. And then hopefully the backs will be able to match it. Not just that as well, but goal kicking. Having someone like Sweeney knocking over the ball for you that's so important as we move forward. You need to keep the scoreboard ticking over. Lots of support coming in from all the boys on the various WhatsApp groups. Thank you all for tuning in. Lots of suggestions of what should have been said. Lots of suggestions for man of the match. Sean McLaughlin was the suggestion from the boys down in Jersey or Guernsey, wherever they are.
And Tom, how has your commentary gone down on the group? Has there been any reactions to that?
There's been a few mentions that it's gone well. I've been warned about the way I say things sometimes, but I think I've kept my language to a good point, and I haven't abused too many players too much, apart from Nick, who got a lot of it.
Yeah, Nick took a full front of abuse at points. Actually, whilst he was in the act of setting up a try, particularly.
Yeah, unfortunately, yeah.
Poor guy.
Yeah.
Well, from our perspective, Tom, you've been fantastic.
Thank you very much.
Thanks very much for joining us in here. It's been marvellous, and now you can finally have a proper beer at the bar and celebrate with the rest of the first team. So many thanks.
Yeah, thank you very much for having me. Cheers,
and
guys.
thank you for joining us here on Cheersmate Productions. It's been delightful to bring the coverage of Harpenden's qualification for London 1 North next season to you. Thank you very much for joining us, and have a very good evening.
Lovely stuff.
Thank you so much. You were marvellous.
Great.
Simply made that a lot of fun.